Hey everybody, we back again.
We back.
There it is. I'm Spencer, and of course we have our licensed clinical therapist, Naz.
Dr. Nas.
Dr. Naz. Never saying that.
All
Nope.
right. You just said it.
As a friend of you, I'm never saying Dr. Naz.
You just said it again.
Bitch, got me. Damn it. Mind tricks. And this is the Different Spectrums podcast, where we talk about movies, shows, and all the mental health aspects that surround them. We also like to have some laughs, so don't take us too seriously.
Or do. It's up to you.
There you go. Also, don't forget to run up those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it. All right. So before we get with our guests today, please go check out our collaborations. We have Bub's Naturals, Pinfinity, also Silver Dollar Candle Company, Two Nerds Candle Company, and also our soap collaborator, Cat and Raven Company. Long list. Long list. So for most of these, you can get 20% off by using the code either DSP20 or DSP. It's all in our link tree. But for Cat and Raven, you can get 10% off your order. So please go check them out and get a discount. Come on. Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you?
Buy some soap.
Yeah. Help support us a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah. And smell better.
We all need that.
Yeah.
All right. So, and also, by the way, before I forget, please go check out our merch. We actually have some pretty cool new stuff that's out. We have different, period, shirts and hoodies. Just the word difference.
So original. What's it say? Different.
Hey, you know what? People love the simplicity. Let me tell you. People love it. So we're going with it. We're going with it.
Just like I like my friends. Real simple.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Ow.
Before we go on, it is on the shop now. I updated it this morning so everyone can see it on Instagram and Facebook. So if they want to go to it, you can just click.
There you go. We have a lot of cool stuff. And then we also have our wavy hoodie and tees too that just say different spectrums, but in a wavy format, which is, I think it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Pretty nice. So go check all of that out. Anyways, now we do have a special guest on today. She is a life coach as well as a healing strategist. Please, everybody, welcome Anna Maria. Anna, correct? Not Anna. I don't want to be like Anna. And then you'd be like, no, that's not right.
That's okay. It fluctuates. So thank you so much for having me. You guys are a blast. Loving it. Yeah, I'm a healing strategist and a life coach. When I usually say healing strategist, nobody knows what I'm talking about. So the life coach kind of like gives a bit of a
context
understanding of like, oh, that's what you do. Because usually they think that I have like superpowers. When you say healer or healing, they think you have superpowers coming out of you, like or something like that. Not here.
Fair enough. Hey, I mean, I got bad Achilles, so you can just do your little.
It would be cool though. I'd love to have that, but hey.
Fair enough.
As soon as you said the finger thing, I was thinking of a Karate Kid.
Oh, Mr. Miyagi. Yeah.
I've been doing that my whole life.
It just had really like warm hands. It was like, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. All right. So we're going to get a little bit more into Anna's career after the clips. So please, we're going to be now discussing the movie Inside Out by Disney and Pixar. We're going to be taking a look at a few scenes, talking about, we're talking about joy. We're talking about sadness. We're talking about anger, disgust, and fear. All of the things, all of them together. And of course, Bing Bong. Can't forget Bing Bong. What a guy. What an imaginary friend. Probably one of the saddest scenes in a while. I mean, Disney and Pixar, they make some sad scenes. They know how to get right at the heartstrings. So this was one of those. So we're going to be talking about those. Nas, anything before we get into the clips?
Excited to see where today's go. As you know, me and you and everyone that listens, we have a format and kind of what we abide by. And then it's kind of up to my mind or our guest minds to diverge in different routes. So we'll see if I unlock some heartstrings and what we come up with. I don't know. I'm excited. See how it goes. And I just ate before this, so I'm not like distracted. So we good. I'm not hungry.
That's good. I'm glad.
You're not going to get hangry with us.
Well, it's not that I get hangry. We'll just start talking about food and pizza on here, and then it just completely distracted, and then
Yeah.
You should see
Can't
me in
do any
therapy.
food on the show. Can't talk about any food if he's hungry, or else he'll be like,
my clients at 4 o'clock and my clients at 11, they're screwed. As soon as they bring up anything about food, I'm like, what does it smell like, though?
All righty. With that, let's get into the clips.
Okay. Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop.
Spencer, I'm killing you.
Hey everyone, I wanted to give a special shout out to our collaborator, Two Nerds Candle Company. Not only do they have great products, but they are also giving back to a great cause. You can tell that they take a lot of pride in making their candles. My favorite is Spock's Monday Coffee. They are also donating 10% annually to support Women in STEM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. You can use our code DSP or go to our link tree to get 20% off your entire order. We think that this company is great, and we think you will too. So go check them out.
What are you doing? Will you stop it, please? Don't you get it, Joy? We're stuck down here. We're forgotten.
We used to play tag and stuff. But everything's different now. Since we moved.
Do you remember how she used to stick her tongue out when she was coloring? I could listen to her stories all day. I just wanted Riley to be happy. was the day the Prairie Dogs lost the big playoff game. Riley missed the winning shot. She felt awful. She wanted to quit. Sadness. Mom and Dad, the team, they came to help because of sadness. We have to get back up there.
Joy was stuck down here. We might as well be on another planet.
And seen Riley all day.
What?
What was she wearing last? Do you even remember what? Riley!
There you are, thank
oh,
goodness.
we were worried sick. Where have you been? It's so late.
I know you don't want me to, but I miss home. I miss Minnesota. You need me to be happy, but I want my old friends and my hockey team. I want to go home. Please don't be mad.
Oh, sweetie.
We're not mad. You know what? I miss Minnesota too. I miss the woods where we took hikes.
In the backyard where you used to play.
Spring Lake, where you learned to skate. Come here.
Going to the moon! Riley can't be done with me.
Hey, it's gonna be okay. We can fix this. We just need to get back to headquarters. Which way to the train station?
I had a whole trip planned for us.
Hey, who's ticklish, huh? Here comes the tickle monster. Hey, Bing Bong, look at this. Oh, here's a fun game. You point to the train station and we all go there. Won't that be fun? Come on, let's go to the train station.
I'm sorry they took your rocket. They took something that you loved. It's gone. Forever.
Sadness. Don't make him feel worse.
Sorry.
It's all I had left of Riley.
I bet you and Riley had great adventures.
Oh, they were wonderful. Once we flew back in time, we had breakfast twice that day.
Sadness.
It sounds amazing. I bet Riley liked it.
Oh, she did. We were best friends.
Yeah, it's sad.
I'm okay now. Come on. The train station is this way.
How did you do that?
I don't know. He was sad, so I listened to what...
Hey! There's the train!
Hey everyone, before we get into the show, please check out our collaborator, Bubs Naturals. They sell a variety of health and wellness products, including collagen peptides, MCT oil powder, coffee, apple cider vinegar gummies, and other amazing products. Go to bubsnaturals.com and use our code DSP20 to get 20% off your entire order. And with that, let's get into the show. All right, so we're back.
And we're live. Just as live. I wanted to say it's Juice WRLD because he's gone, but he does.
Oh my God.
Let's redo this. Redo this. We got to redo it. If you don't know, on Juice WRLD is a rapper that died of an overdose. And as soon as I said live, that's all I can think of. We can't use that. We can't use that. I just got done singing the song.
This just went real dark real quick.
Oh, that's how it goes sometimes here on the Different Spectrum podcast.
Yeah. No, we're not getting canceled today, people. We're
back.
No,
We're back.
we just got from vacation. We can't get canceled right back from vacation.
I didn't know he was going to say that, people. I had no idea. I don't even know who he is, really. Never met him.
All right. I got something. I'm going to go off the pineapple.
Okay.
Start it back up.
Okay. Floridians are going to love this. So, we're back.
And we're live. Just as live as the pineapple community in Florida.
Why did I ever?
This is going to be a great show.
I look at the show Psych so much more differently now because they used the pineapples in that show all the time. Like, no.
Oh, we got to do a clip on that.
No, we will.
Yeah.
All right. We'll just do SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh, the baby's going to have a whole pineapple theme, but Heather was scared to do it because of the Florida thing.
All right. And with that, so today we are taking a look at the movie Inside Out by Disney and Pixar. So Inside Out is all about the emotions that Riley, like the main character of the show or the movie, has. She has joy, sadness, anger, disgust, and fear. And so it's pretty much all about her and how these emotions are kind of helping kind of guide her through life and all the kind of decisions that she has to make through life. And so joy is the main character or the main emotion. She's mainly like the leader. And so we see her and sadness actually get lost inside Riley's mind, and so now anger, disgust, and fear are the main emotions that are taking over for Riley, going through a huge move from Minnesota to San Francisco. And so was it by accident, or is just maybe these are just the emotions that she was feeling during the time? Who knows? Maybe a deeper connection. We'll get into it. But so mainly those three emotions are taking over, and so now she's kind of acting out, and she's right at that age where, you know, you have that kind of adolescence slash you're kind of going more into adulthood, and you're kind of that in between. And so now we see that joy is not as prevalent in her life, and she's not being able to express her sadness either, because joy kind of pushing sadness to the side to try and make sure that Riley is happy all the time, which we all know that is not possible. So yeah, and then so now we're going to get into those scenes that we watched, but before that, we would love to know a little bit more about our guest, Anna Maria. Please tell us a little bit more about you and what got you into the profession that you are in now.
Yeah, no, it's been a wild ride to get into this. A lot of emotions involved in that. There you go.
Yeah.
So I have been specializing lately with, you know, toxic relationships, burnout, trauma healing, and those are kind of like dashboard side effects of all this emotional inner world that we have, that probably, you know, from when we were growing up, if we didn't have proper guidance or the circumstances that could help us foster like a clear understanding of this, it's tough to be adulting and navigating all these curveballs that life throws your way if you don't have that tool set. So I work with emotional literacy. This is why I really love this movie. Mindset. I like to, you know, focus on growth mindset versus fixed mindset. And then there's trauma healing, which was what blew my mind when I came to this work of adverse childhood experiences and how that affects us later on, which is why I thought, again, this movie was awesome because it encompasses that.
Right. Totally.
Yep. And another thing is that I don't like templates very much, because when I went through my journey, was not fitting into a perfect shape of breakdown, I guess you could say. So when I work with my clients, I don't mold them into like, hey, I have this thing that I work with, these 5 steps that we need to go through. No, it's not like that. It's very organic, and I kind of mold my own skills to their needs instead of trying to mold them into a template that I feel should work. So that's something that I've used, because I wish that was what would have been used with me when I was going through the journey myself.
And the creativity that you have, like on your Instagram, is that just how you like to express things and like to help guide people, like with the visuals on Instagram? Because they're very like colorful, right? They're and like animated things, and so I know that I feel like that's kind of like your vibe, is teaching people through these visuals.
Yeah, and I use a lot of like metaphors and visuals, and I give all these examples when I do speak with my clients, because I try to kind of like relate it to what they would be personally interested in, for them to kind of like grasp the concept. And a lot of stuff also on my Instagram, it was, when I started initially, it was very like, you know, definitions and, you know, proper stuff. And I'm like, that's not me. So then, because I appreciate humor so much, I feel that humor is what got me through so many of these difficult stages. So then I started infusing some of that humor in there as well. And I appreciate creators, and I always post other creators stuff on my feed, because there's some really funny people out there who make such quality humorous stuff when it comes to mental health, when it comes to struggles, when it comes to all that. And I love it because like you could only cry so much about it. Like there's a time when you're like, okay, I'm gonna giggle about it now because like I'm done crying for 3 days. So yeah.
It's the thing. I don't know if me and Spence were talking about it with another person where we talk about, I think it was the last ADHD Ron, I think when we talked about personalities where they're the gigglers, the laughers. I don't know if it was him or someone else. But you meet those folks that you ask like a serious question or an anxious question, or there's like tension in the room and they'll just kind of giggle and laugh. Those are my favorite type of clients as well to work with, because like it'll be like a sad thing. And I'm like, this kind of traumatic. And they'll be like, yeah, ha, 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 ha. I'm like, why are you laughing, you psychopath? Jesus. I'm like, shouldn't you be crying? And it's a defense mechanism. I mean, I have that as well. We talk about all the time, kind of like the Robin Williams thing. We want people to smile, to have joy, because we know what sadness is, unless we don't want anyone to have that around us. And so people like me, maybe Anna, will put on a little bit of a show to try and make people smile. I'm not going to speak for you, but that's what I do. Is if you're in my presence, I'll be funny. Something interesting, Spencer. We was over at Collins, right, in Virginia, and the neighbors came over for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
They come in the house. I walk in, and Heather's like, "Oh, meet so and so and so and so." Hey, Heather's like, "What?" And she just looks at, because that's not my personality. But with new people, I'm like very reserved.
Yeah.
And then as I got to see that they were like, okay, safe people, and okay, then I start talking shit. But it took like 30 minutes, and I walked over by Colin like a scared little dog. Like, what do I do with these new people? Why are they here?
Are they safe?
Even though I'm like 5 times bigger than everyone in the house, and the one lady's pregnant. So what are you gonna do?
That's the thing, right? It's like it's always, even if you are like a bigger person like me or you, where it's still kind of scary meeting new people, because you want to have a good impression, but at the same time you also want to, you want to have like some restraint just in case they're like, what the hell is up with that guy? Like,
yeah, I didn't know, should I be professional around them, because now I'm like a doctor. I don't know how they introduced me, right? I mean,
true.
I'm still just this idiot that likes.
Are you guys? What? Are you tall?
Yeah. So I'm 6'3".
I'm 6'1".
You're 6'1".
I had no idea.
Or 6'1", maybe 6'1.5". I don't know.
Yeah. Hold on, man.
You messed up by saying you can speak Spanish and you're tall. Like you just.
There's gonna be a lot more pineapples going. Stack all of them up. As long as you don't put them upside down, you're good. No, yeah, it's fun, and it's true. People are different around you. I was just talking about that. Yep. And then, because my son is 16 and a half, and he told me the other day, he's like, Mom, I don't understand that, you told me you didn't have like lots of boyfriends when you were in high school, and now I'm single. My ex and I, we split up, and he's like, he's like, you're really pretty, but you know what? It's your height. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, because my son's 6'5", almost 6'6", and he's 16 and a half. So he's like, I don't think it's different for me as a guy, how girls love tall guys, but you're a tall woman. And when you walk into a room, you can be sweet, you can be kind like you are. But if you're tall, you immediately like throw people off with your height. Mm-hmm. So it is interesting when you meet new people. I think what you said, Spencer, when you said, are they safe? That's exactly what we feel. But then if you're a bigger person, they don't feel safe around you, maybe. I don't know, because you're bigger. You're like towering over them.
Yeah, totally.
It's a safety. It's a safety thing. It's a gendered thing. It's a racial thing with me being brown. And so I tailor my personality, make sure that other people are more comfortable, and then I can be more and more authentic after, like, we all feel each other out. Which leads me to a question I wanted to ask you, and then I lost it. because it's the ADHD working. And I had a question specifically to ask you, and I was like, damn it, what was it? Because I wanted the other podcasters to know who you are. You said that, what started you on the journey of this stuff? So earlier you talked about you went to University of Michigan for your schooling. What did the shift in life to doing this stuff? And you don't have to get too in detail. I just kind of want people to know about how you got into this and what were you doing before?
So I graduated in economics and business management, and I was working corporate. What happened is that I'm originally from Romania. My upbringing was kind of, you know, difficult, let's say, at times. There's like the social aspect, the political aspect. It was still a communist country. So there was a revolution that I went through when I was 8 years old. And it was just a lot. Like that whole part of the world was going through a lot. And it's systemic, right? It's systemic trauma. It trickles down. So all of that, and then we immigrated to the US, and obviously that wasn't easy either, I guess. Now looking back, I'm like, shit, that was hard.
Yeah.
And then I became an adult, and then I got married real quick, became a mom real quick, and then it all just kind of piled up, and I reached a severe point of burnout from all points of view. And for me, it showed up somatically. Like it was just a lot of somatic symptoms. And yeah, and then I went to the ER. I thought like there's something, they have to give me an IV for something, and they're like, no, you just need to go see a therapist and start medication. And I was like, what the heck? You're supposed to like do my blood work, see if I need magnesium or something. No, go talk to a therapist. And I was like, what kind of, okay. So I did what they said, because what am I supposed to do? And then when I went to therapy, I was like, oh my God, it all makes sense. So I got so deep into, like, I was so impassioned by this whole concept of developmental trauma and how you have parts of yourself that didn't get integrated, like the fight, flight, freeze, submit, attach, all these things that I was working through. And I was like, why don't they teach you this stuff? So I became so super excited about it. Like when I would come home, I would take courses and just like learn more and more and more. And then I remember I went to my therapist. I'm like, have you heard about the adverse childhood experiences study? Like, oh my God. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, why didn't we talk about this until now? There's like studies on this. So there was so much stuff that got me so excited. And then I noticed that in my free time, I'm doing this, and it's not just like I'm not just going to therapy for an hour and once a week and coming back home. It's all I'm thinking about. So then about 5 years in, I kind of took the leap and started doing this part-time, and then it progressed into full-time, and this is what I do for a living now. And as a single mom supporting myself and my son, it's pretty cool to be doing what I love.
Yeah. Super cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing your story. I
The
want
pain
people
served a purpose. That's what I get out of this. My pain served a purpose. So that's what makes it feel better.
Isn't that weird?
It is.
It is weird because some people won't like that, because they'll be like, why did you have to suffer in the first place? And we're not saying that suffering is good, but at least something came from it. The sad thing is so many people don't make it to the other side of suffering or pain. And so that causes some folks like us that make it out of it to have the survivor's guilt. And ooh, that's a son of a bitch to deal with sometimes. But then you work through it, you process, you think about it, and you continue to help the folks that you can help, and coping skills, and I'm glad you shared your story, because it makes you more real for everyone that's listening, because they can relate to literally everything they talked about. Here's what I was going to ask. Okay. And so now you said, and then we're going to get to the scene. So I'm people know I'm an anxious person. I'm real funny, but I'm anxious. I'm anxious funny. And so I said, I was scared to DM people. She said, well, you did so good with me. It was so nice of me. I'm like, thank God. Because literally every time I DM people, I'm like, I am hated by everyone. I'm going to come off as weird. I'm gonna get restricted. They're gonna block me. Literally, I always think that people are gonna block me.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know what it is because I never block anyone. Oh, I've blocked a few people that have DM'd me, but those were some legit like weird people. And most of the things I block are spam. Most of them are just spam. But I like see these people. I'm not weird.
Yeah. Even though he's probably about to send so many upside down pineapple emojis to people. Like, let's see. That one?
What other fruits we got in here?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I just like that I did well.
Yeah.
And I seem to be getting very good turnout for the podcast, which is quite wonderful. Smaller therapists, smaller practices, big time influencers. It's all kind of hodgepodging and everyone's meeting in the middle. The only thing I did want to bring up is not Anna, but I've asked a lot of people to join, and you would be surprised how many healers, caregivers, coaches, therapists, let's just say people that are empaths, on how many of them are said they're extremely burned out right now, and there's no way that they can do anything, and then circle back. I'm like completely fine. I completely understand it, and I'm also like, maybe you should also take care of yourself and do some of the stuff that you're saying on your Instagram. This is not me throwing any shade at anyone. I just wanted to let people know that us as
friendly reminder,
caregivers, hey man, do the stuff you're teaching. And also be kind to the people that are on social media making some of these posts. And some of my neurodivergent friends on this Instagram, they got a lot of good posts. Some of them are tired though, and they just want to post memes sometimes. And if that's all I got, that's all I got. Don't be mad at them for posting memes. No one owes you anything as a follower. So I just be nice to the people that you're following. Be nice in your comments. Remember, be respectful. There's a lot of people out there struggling. It's not just, non-therapist people, non-healers. Everyone's struggling. So be mindful of that, folks. All right. Let's get into these scenes, Spence. Let's get into the first one. Let's have some fun.
Yes. So, first scene was with Joy and Bing Bong going into like the forgotten place, where everything then gets like erased from Riley's memory. And so in this, we see that Joy and Bing Bong are stuck and they can't get out. And now Joy, who only tries to look at the best of everything, or at least tries to, she finally sees this scene with Riley, and how she lost like a final hockey game because she didn't make a winning shot. And it was a sad moment, but then it also turned into a happy moment because she had all of her friends and things like that around her, to kind of help her go through that process. And so now she's kind of seeing that that you need sadness sometimes in order to have that kind of joy and happiness. And then we also see Joy crying, which did not happen at all through everything that was going on through the movie, obviously, because that's technically not in her nature, I guess, or at least she didn't think it was at the time. So yeah, so let's go. What were your first reactions to the scene, Anna?
Okay, so a couple of things.
Yes.
Another thing that I work with is I'm very big on, I call it co-help over self-help, because I'm like, there's like entire libraries of self-help out there, but we're still kind of struggling along. So we need other people. We need to rely on others. And I really love that in that scene, how she was sad. She was alone on that ranch, and then her parents came, and then, oh wait, no, that's the other scene.
No, that's the same scene.
No, that same scene. That's just one. It's towards the end of that scene. Same scene.
Yeah. So, and then it's kind of like everybody, with everyone's help and through sadness, through experiencing sadness, everybody was able to see that she needs someone, she needs help, and they came and attended to her and offered some help and some emotional connection, right? And so that's the first thing. And then the other thing that got to me in that scene was that I've always been kind of like joy my whole life. And I don't know if I was subconsciously running away from sadness. I don't know. I know that when I was sad in my household, it wasn't allowed. Like my mom would try to like snap me out of it. My dad wouldn't have it. So maybe I grew up not being kind of like allowed. No space was held for sadness in my household. So I kind of grew up being like joy, and watching her on TV. When I was watching the movie, I was like, oh my God, that's exhausting. But like literally that's what I did my whole life. And then when she finally like breaks down and cries in the forgotten, land, and realizes how sad it is, and she feels the sadness, she was able to kind of like, oh, you don't disappear. It's nothing terrible if you feel sadness. You just feel it, you let it be, you let it process, and it moves on. And to me, that I was able to personally connect with that scene because I came to that point when I had my own breakdown, and I had to learn to be sad. And it's not terrible. You don't instantly combust. You don't discombobulate into nothingness if you are sad. The show does go on, even if you do feel sadness, and not always try to like be strong and happy. And happiness is not always the goal. There is a purpose to sadness as well. So I really love that scene because I could personally relate to it. I saw myself in it. So that was powerful.
Right.
Were you as bubbly as Joy? Or
Yes.
were you... Ooh, wow. Okay. She's
silly
very
and bubbly.
Yep. Very bubbly. So there's a couple different things that probably played a role in that. Culturally, where you're at and what's going on. So different cultures will act in different ways. So more ethnic cultures, we don't have time for sadness. That's not a thing in this household. Emotions aren't really talked about. So if we're talking about folks in America, Black and brown families, depression, sadness, suck it up. Also, that's a problem for people that have nothing to worry about. We've got bills, we've got money, people getting shot in the street. Right? We ain't got nothing to eat. We ain't got time for you to be sad. So it's a couple of different distinctions. Also, if you grew up in a country with a lot of turmoil and stuff like that, I mean, there's so many other things that are going on that your emotional needs might not be met by the parents because there's other things going on. I'm not speaking just for you, I'm speaking for everyone. So if there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, then you might feel neglected because the attention's brought somewhere else. So you'll see that with, I'm going on an autism rant now. You'll see that in some variations of like autism. Within the family is that one child may have more disabilities, and thus they get more of the attention, and so the other kids feel a little bit more neglected because all the attention's on that kid, and they will develop a personality where everything's fine, everything's good, and I'll take care of everything, and I'll make sure that you focus on we're going to stick to our normal name, Bobby. You'll make sure Bobby's okay, but I, Rebecca, will be fine, and I'll take care of things, manage the house, and I'll be bubbly and smiling. Because I don't want mom or dad to be sad. Because they're already too sad dealing with. So there's a lot of different things that can happen with trauma and neglect. Like for some parents just fucking suck. We're being straight up. Some parents just suck. They completely neglect all the emotions. We just talked about it in I Heart Huckabee with Maggie, where those parents were so narcissistic that they never validated any of the young man's emotions when his dog died. And he was taught to always betray himself. Always, always, always. And that can reverberate throughout your life when you pick your schooling, what jobs you want to do, your romantic partners. It's tough. And so Anna got to a burnout. Many of us will get to a burnout, and those who are unlucky will get to very suicidal burnouts because there's just no options, and they're so tired that they don't want to operate. I've got many close friends. They're just tired. They're just tired. A lot of the women I know are just tired. High achieving, successful. They got kids, they're single parents. I know a lot of wonderful women and they're tired. A lot of things with people of color, tired. Any marginalized identity, mostly tired. So I feel like a lot of neurodivergent folks listening will know exactly why you felt like this from the movie and identify with it. Because always masking and putting on a show to be appropriate in front of other people is exhausting, and it leads to burnout, leads to suicidality. Doesn't matter what religion, what gender you are, masking is tumultuous.
You're human.
Yes. So I just wanted to piggyback off of what you said. That way everyone, I'm sure they relate to that character. I, Spence, was never I was the making jokes, but inappropriate. People didn't just look at me and think joy. A lot of people looked at me and thought happiness because I bring them happiness, but it's different. People knew I was weird. Some people were scared of me. There's a lot of different things, right? It is interesting. So I have a lot of emotions, big emotions, like that fire rage thing, big time.
Yeah.
And they come out very, very intensely because me being neurodivergent, my emotions just kind of pop, and I can't control them all the time, and it's hard for me to back them down, good or bad. So I remember, Spence, we just recently talked about in the last podcast. I went to the Indianapolis Colts, the NFL team, right? My boy's one of the directors there, and I'm watching the team during practice, and it's super fun. And I remember he was my high school running back, this director. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking how cool this was to be at the Colts game, training camp. So that I can be a therapist that's working with the team at the NFL level. Super cool.
Yeah.
And I remember when my boy, we were at a game. We were playing a game, and during the national anthem, I get geeked up because I'm thinking about things. Sometimes my mind would wander and I'd start angry crying. And I remember the look he looked at me, he was terrified. He's like, bro, what's wrong with you? You good? And I can't even talk when I'm in that mentality. And then fast forward 20 years, here we are, both professionals, and I'm still the same emotional person. I just know how to regulate them a little bit better. And as we were walking to the cars, he's like, brother, I'm so proud of you. I said, I'm proud of you too, man. This is really cool what we've done with our lives, that all the stuff that we've been through didn't go for nothing. That's what Anna was saying. And we're making something and helping people out. Feels good to have purpose, to be living through your purpose, working through your purpose. And even if your purpose for that day is to do nothing and just watch TV or anime and eat chips. You don't always have to have outcomes to your shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what Anna said a second ago made me smile. I'm losing it now, though, because I'm focused on the emotion instead of the words. Here it is. Specifically, neurodivergent folks, specifically, though, the women. So my dissertation was autism among women. There's so much masking, and there's so much that you need to be happy and to be healing everyone that you can never experience the pain. And then you have the men that can express the anger, but we can never express sadness or pain. And all we feel is pain sometimes, but it always comes out as anger. And then we get into trouble with that, alcohol, drug issues. It's interesting. So neither one of us can really experience some emotions because of this gendered bullshit. And it kills us in different ways. So for you put on a show. For me and Spence, we put on shows to make other people laugh because that's just what me and Spence are good at. The question is, are me and Spence good at making people laugh because we're just funny? Or is it because we've been coping and using this defense mechanism so fucking long that we're just really, really good at it because we've practiced it so much? So me and Spence have had podcasts on, do you have a gift? Or did you learn this gift over time and get really good at it? I feel like me and Spence, a little bit of both. We got a gift and we've used it a lot.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, and you're able to use a lot of what, like, you have public speaking engagements and things like that you do. And so that also helps, especially when you're around people, like a ton of people, because then you can be able to actually, use that and to be able to talk to multiple people instead of just having like a one-on-one conversation all the time, which is fine. But, sometimes you have to have a crowd of people to kind of try to make laugh and things like that, or even to like just get to in general to people, just trying to get to them in terms of like trying to make them think about something. And so I think that's a great thing to use, but it's never easy. Never easy to do. I don't like making just like everyone laugh. I like making people that I know laugh because then especially if I can, like for me, if I can make you just not say anything and just be like, oh my gosh, that's my favorite, because then I'm just like, oh, that got him, that got him.
Me and Colin and Celine were laughing so hard the other day. I kid you not. I could feel I was this close from urinating everywhere. I kid you not. I was laying down on the floor because I like laying down on the floor, and I could not breathe. Spence, I was gasping for air. I felt like I got hit in the stomach.
Like I peed a little. I peed a little.
I'm like, should I just
Well,
full
gonna
on
be a
pee right
little.
now? I had to think about it. Like,
But
and it's
isn't
just
it? So
go ahead.
would you say that it's like the environment? Certain environments bring out certain parts of you, like the humorous one. So,
Yes.
and you mentioned empathy a lot. And am I empathetic because I am empathetic, or am I empathetic because I had to be so hyper vigilant in my environment for safety when I was growing up and looking for cues that, I mean, which is chicken or the egg, right? I don't know.
I don't know. But I do know that me and you and Spence, we use these as tools to help navigate our current lives in a positive way instead of a negative way now.
100%. I remember when I was working in corporate, I was more.
Hey, are you a nerd? Do you like pins? If you're like any of our followers and you said yes, you should check out our collaboration with Pinfinity. They have Power Rangers pins, Transformers pins, and for all of our bronies out there, My Little Pony pins. Go check out our link tree or use our code DSP to get 20% off your Pinfinity order today.
It was easier for me to understand the emotional read of the room in a boardroom. I knew what people would say because of their cues, but that's what kept me safe growing up in my environment, because I would look for cues of safety or trouble to know what to do next. And that helps me, like in the emotional intelligence aspect in corporate. And now that helps me on my calls with clients. I feel it's even more used to its full potential, because I can see those cues in the tone of voice and body language, whatever they're saying. Sometimes you're called psychic, but you're not psychic. You can just like feel, you can intuit certain things, right? So again, is it because I was born intuitive, highly intuitive, or whatever? Is it because I developed those skills under pressure, kind of like a diamond under pressure, I developed those skills under tremendous pressure because it was do or die.
Right.
I would feel it has to be both. You have to have the talent, which me and Spence have talked about, but you also have to have the work and reworking and reworking and reworking, which is the long life, the adverse childhood experiences, being a marginalized identity in the world. You're more hypervigilant. And then you get people like me that realize that I didn't know anything about that stuff. I just was watching this to make certain people laugh and to maybe get my way into some things, right? Because I'm not always a good person. And so there's certain ways to maneuver people, what we call the con. Certain ways to con people to get what you want. So if you show people this one personality, then the other personality can do what it needs to do. I'm getting into some bad stuff here now, people. But I'm being serious. When it comes to, we all have different personalities. My students will see professional, they'll see funny, they'll see authentic, neurodivergent, autistic Nas. And then when I walk outside the office, I'm a little bit even more professional now. They won't see some of the other eccentricities. It's part of masking. I think my favorite part in the scene is what Anna brought up, is specifically when we did the pre-production, is that she just cried. That Joy just cried and just felt an emotion that maybe they never had, or maybe they never wanted to touch, but most likely was always there. But technically their whole identity is joy, so maybe it isn't there. The thing is that they felt it. And I think that's pretty cool to see that. Doesn't matter what gender you are, what race, ethnicity, religion, doesn't matter. Because you don't always have to be so fucking happy. If we're being real, life is actually really hard and really sad. And sometimes it's hard to even to understand why I should even get up or live. if we're being honest. Sometimes, as me and Spencer talked about multiple times, what is the point of this? The podcast that drops, I think tomorrow, maybe not, it's the week after. It's Martin Luther King's speech about existentialism. It's hard for a lot of people. So this toxic positivity, what I've seen other podcasts use Inside Out for, just toxic positivity. We could talk about that, but other podcasts do that. Other Instagram channels do that. I think it's nice to see everyone has their breaking point or burnout point, what Anna said. My advice for folks is people, when you start to feel your triggers, start to feel what's coming up. You said somatic, so it's a lot of the physical stuff. What the hell is coming up? Is it headaches? Is it tension? Are you being more nasty with people? For me, I get a crap ton of acne when I'm getting more stressed out and horrible indigestion. Also, I get a lot of acid reflux. So if I just ate a Cheez-It, because I love Cheez-Its, if the Cheez-It gives me acid reflux, I know something's going on. Like I'm not processing something. I should call Cheez-Its and let them know it was the sponsoring us next. Cheez-Its. If this shit gives you acid reflux,
You're gonna be like, you know what? We're gonna give you a real cheese.
Yeah. if it makes you burp up acid, either see a therapist or just talk to someone. God damn it.
Sponsored by Cheez-Its.
Sponsored by Cheez-Its. Talk to someone. God damn it. And this is not real cheese. Okay, I just had to put that in there. I think it was cool to see Joy cry. It's a very sad moment. Right. I think when I'm working with clients, I feel like it's always the strongest ones that are the saddest ones in my office. And they're the ones that cried the hardest. They're always the ones that cry the hardest. Specifically my boys. And they don't want to cry in front of me because I'm a masculine dude, but they feel okay. And man, when they tank, the people that have been acting strong for a long time, that shit is like devastating because they're like not breathing. And so then I have to regulate my emotions to make sure I don't tank. And some of them I just don't. And I kind of cry with them. I love that Joy was able to get her family brought her joy by, or the kid family hugged them and supported them, validated them. So the whole person, you said, versus just self-help. Yes. No one's doing this shit by themselves. It doesn't happen.
Especially when you're growing up, you don't know how to. You need to learn affect, through affect regulation. You need to learn that stuff. And if there's nobody there to help you through that, I didn't have what she had. Like that moment of, I didn't have that moment. So I was like, damn, that's such a beautiful opportunity for her to have that. And that scene was super, super powerful. And it also taught me that sadness is necessary. And I think that's what Joy learned in that moment when she's sobbing. Like there is a point where sadness is necessary because all emotions are necessary, right? Because she was just trying to keep joy all along, and she's like running that ship. But you can't have only joy running that ship. They're all necessary and they're all important. And with all of them, you get through shit. Literally.
Yeah, well,
you could, yeah. I would say no. Would I talk to some clients, not all, specific ones, at the right moment and right time? Is that I'm like, hey man, there got to be sadness. There's got to be pain and suffering. And they said, why would you say that? Because you wouldn't appreciate all the good shit in life unless you were sad at one point in time. They said, well, I don't want to be this sad. Or said maybe you'll have the reciprocal emotion to be that happy. Have you thought of that? That there is an alternate world that you'll get to in a few months, few years from now. We don't know what that world brings. Anytime you work for something really hard, the payback that you get once you achieve it is usually even higher if it was just easy for you. Anything difficult. So let's say if you're a mother with a 16-year-old boy, if you give that young man a cell phone, just here it is, right? It's not. They might treat it in any way. They might let other people touch it, play with it. They might not put a phone case on it. But if that person had to work for that phone, if it costs $1,000 at minimum wage, let's say it's 15, they're gonna have to work a couple weeks to get by that goddamn phone. And thus they will appreciate it and be more careful, more respectful, and do more self-care with that cell phone because they work so hard to afford it. There's much more appreciation when you finally get to joy after you've been through some of the sadness. I'm gonna bring this up because I brought it up on a different pod, but I get happy and I reflect on things in the gym or when I go for a bike ride or like something good will happen or in the car ride to work or whatever. And I'll just start crying. It'll be happy tears. But I'm just so overly overwhelmed with emotion that the tears happen. So Spencer, this is when I told you that me and Pops will see different things of the baby, and my dad texts Colin. He's like, man, I'm crying my ass off right now. And then I text Colin a couple hours later after I read it at work. I said, I'm just sitting here crying watching this baby. And his partner, my friend's name is Colin, his partner says, why do you guys cry so much? Like, what's wrong? I feel like a lot of people just don't understand on how sad some lives were and how when anything good comes into it, we're overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. Because we weren't supposed to get this happiness. It was never supposed to be there. We were supposed to die miserable, which is really sad for me to say on the podcast. But that's what a way many people feel probably listening is they feel stuck in sadness all the time. And then when you get that happiness, I tell my clients, you're going to cry so fucking hard. I don't know when, but in a couple of years, you're going to be so happy that you're just going to sob. And they'll look at me and they just say, I can't wait. And I said, when you do email me, you'll probably be making a shit ton of money, more money than me. Email me.
There's also like fear that comes with happiness. People who have experienced a lot of sadness, once they feel joy and happiness, they're afraid that it's not very familiar, one thing, or that it might be taken away. So then the happiness is never really fully happiness. It's laced with fear.
Yep.
And then it sometimes self-jeopardizes into, you create scenarios that end up, because of that fear, it takes over because it's like, I can't be this happy. Do I even deserve this? Does this even exist? Is this even a possibility for me? So on and so forth. And you go down that rabbit hole.
When does the other shoe drop? That's what my clients tell me. So when we finally get into healthy relationships, they're like, oh, this is going to go to shit, or there must be something wrong with them. I'm like, did you check the downstairs freezer? That's where the murderers keep the bodies.
Right. We understand.
No, but it's true, and I'm guilty of that all the time. I am. I always walk my talk, and I always say like, it's for real. It's true. You are like I reach sometimes levels of paranoia where it's like, it's gonna happen. It has to happen. It always does. Where is it? Where is it? And then you end up stirring shit yourself because you're acting all weird.
Well, they're stirring shit. I love stirring some shit. Can we sell it though? All right, again, that's a different conversation.
Oh my!
The fear in the very beginning, or no, yeah, Joy was like, "Hey, we need to craft up some ideas for them to think about, to like worry about for later." And Fear's like, "I already been thinking about this shit. We're good."
I got a long list right here for you. All the possible things.
He said, think about all the scenarios that could go wrong in the first day of school. He's like, I'm already thinking about it. He's like, have you thought of meteors? I was like, holy shit.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
A meteor hit the school? Like, I would never have thought of. I mean, I'm thinking about it now, but
well,
it's always fun when talking to anxious people because you have to be cautious on what you bring up because now their mind will like run with it, especially if they're OCD, they'll kind of run with it.
Oh yeah. But I always say, I don't want to know. Don't tell me. The less information I know, the better off I am because it's already working overtime. I don't need more input.
Oh God. Man, the devilish part of me just wants to info dump on you some horrible statistics.
Oh my gosh. Do it.
No, I'm not going to do it. Do it.
You'll be getting an email later.
Click on the link, it's a virus. So.
Oh my
God. Pineapple.
Oh my! Just an emoji.
Now you
you're
just
so
have to end
right.
all your emails with a smiley pineapple.
Oh, there we go. Jesus, I can't wait to tell Colin about this later. Because the baby, FYI people, the pineapple I bought at Barnes and Nobles. I bought two
Why
of
do you
them.
have to give a plug to where you bought the things? I don't understand.
Because it's cute as shit, and the baby liked it. Baby liked it. So when she was murder screaming when the parents left, and it was just the nanny and me and Salim, like murder screaming for literally 2 whole days, 8 hours each day. It's intense. She was just like clinching onto this thing, like 7-month-old would not let this thing go, murder clinching this, and then white knuckling it, and then just crying. So now she's like got this trauma bond with the damn pineapple, and like she won't let it go.
Look what you've done.
So I said she's gonna be the neurodivergent kid at the elementary class, just dressed as a pineapple backpack and all that. She's gonna get made fun of. I've done this to her.
I just love the fact that he's just like, yep, she's gonna be such a nerd, and everybody's gonna be making fun of her, but I'll be there. I'll be there to be like, Dr. Nas is here for you.
Oh yeah. Well, I can't wait to walk up in the. I'm gonna walk up in their school.
I was speaking as a child, not as me, so that was different context.
Yeah. I'm gonna walk up in the school, not as Dr. Nas. Go up in there slapping kids like Bernie Mac.
And with that, we will be getting into the next scene.
I do not condone slapping kids, but
sure
they
you
need
don't.
it.
Sure you don't.
Okay. Last thing, and then we'll move on. You're right. Happiness is so hard to actually feel when you tell people to take a break or take a rest, or just to take a vacation. Their minds are still racing. It's still turmoil. Healthy relationships, good jobs. Some people won't leave those toxic relationships with whatever relationship means because they're fearful that the other thing will be worse. So the devil that you know is better than the devil that you don't know. And then finally, when they meet something or do something that's very good, it's just consistently fearful that they are terrible. And then they find reasons on why they're terrible. And then they leave and then they go back to a shitty person or a shitty job. Or they just believe that they don't deserve it, like you said. And then they'll self-sabotage and run away. I had a client tell me, it was hilarious, they was going to get a raise. I said, good, take it. And they said, no, I ain't worked hard enough for it. Someone gives you money, take the damn money. I said, take, if you don't want the money, take the money, give it to me. I'm like, She said, can you say that to me? I said, I just did. Take the money.
This is what's happening.
Take the money. Same thing when I'm working with athletes and a lot of the coaches. You'll see it with some of the genders as well. There's so much insecurity with some of the women that I work with, and so like self-hatred, where the boys will be very braggadocious, and I'll have to work with a lot of my women to, well, I don't want to be, I want people to think that I'm not humble. I said, no, the men are going to show off. The men are going to be bright. They're going to run their mouths. I want you to show off too. I want you to brag about what you're doing, and I want you to know that you're fucking awesome. So when you go to your boss, you act like you're awesome. You know you're awesome. Don't go in there weak-minded, feeble-minded, and that you don't deserve these accolades that you're getting. You deserve everything that you're getting. And my clients say, well, I just don't know. And then we have to go through the whole damn counseling session again. Because my autistic ass, I'm going to parrot it until you just accept it. At the end, I'm like, are you awesome? They're like, yes, Nazir, I'm awesome. I'm like, okay, I'll see you next week, you little shit. And if you don't take the money, I'll take it. All right.
So
I did not take the money.
Sure you didn't. That was an odd amount that just went into his bank account for no reason. That's weird.
How you spell Swiss? I need a Swiss bank account.
Swiss. You spell Swiss.
They're in there.
Like Swiss. All right. So actually, we're going to switch it up here. So we're actually going to go to the next scene. So we've been talking about sadness. So let's go to the sadness scene where she's talking and she's kind of consoling Bing Bong. the fact that Bing Bong really is realizing that he lost Riley and that she doesn't really want Bing Bong in her life anymore as an imaginary friend. And so in this movie, they talk a lot about sadness, right? It's one of the focal points in the movie. So this is actually a question to both of you, how can accepting and acknowledging sadness be beneficial for somebody's emotional well-being?
Well, I could say that for me, sadness and anger, but we're focusing on sadness, was very foreign. So I was diagnosed with an anxiety disorder, and I think I don't know why, but I could tell you that I did not feel sadness, for example, or anger. So I would not go through kind of like complete feedback loops of feelings through experiences. And that just gave me like a generalized anxiety because things were not felt out within me completely. So once I started, in therapy, learning to gently lean into sadness and to be able to feel sad for longer periods and cry it out and like feel the whole emotional process attached to a circumstance, I realized that, I'd be like, okay, I'm still here. So, okay, I would take a deep breath and be able to move on. And it's kind of like nothing really happened, nothing changed other than my own feelings were expressed. And I know Dan Siegel talks about it, name it to tame it, and I couldn't feel half of the things on the emotions wheel because I just was not given the environment to do so. So, when a therapist, they always make jokes about how a therapist asks you, and how does that make you feel?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, a lot of the time I'd be like, I don't know. I don't know how it makes me feel because I didn't have experience in doing that. So now and then when I discovered the wheel of emotions, oh my gosh, I printed it out. I went with it into therapy. I was like, oh, look, there's like core emotions and then there's like subcategory levels. And then it goes even deeper into like more levels. I have answers. I was like, now I actually have answers for what I feel. There's words to things that before I would only feel somatically, that I had no idea there was a word attached to it that explains it. Name it to tame it. So I would name it and then it would tame it, surprisingly how that works. And yeah, there is it's so ironic because I'm also highly sensitive. So I can feel very happy, but suppressing feeling very sad was energy that had nowhere to go. Probably that's where a lot of my somatic symptoms were showing up as. It has to go somewhere, emotions, energy, and motion, right? So once I started feeling sadness, I felt more, it's so ironic. I felt more calm, more at ease, more confident in myself because it's okay if I'll feel sad and then I'll go on. Life will continue for me after the sadness. But to get there, I literally thought I was going to disappear. I told my therapist, I felt like when she had me to lean into sadness, I said, I feel like you're asking me to lean in on the edge of a cliff and I have no idea what's going to be there. Am I going to die at the end of it once I feel it? I don't know. It felt horrible. Like it was horrible, skin crawling, horrible. And then slowly but surely, I learned to do it. And then it's like, oh, so then feeling sadness in a way gave me ironically, a sense of confidence in just being myself, happy, sad, whatever it is. I can be sad. And I know that I'm confident I'll be okay afterwards, after I feel this sadness. So I actually do give myself self-care moments when I go through certain periods of my life where shit just sucks, because it just does. And there's my locus of control is I can't control it, so then I'm just gonna manage my emotional response. And if I'm sad, then I'm just gonna be sad, whereas before I try to be like joy, no, suppress it, go away, sadness, just no, it doesn't work. I'm literally do not want to go through another burnout breakdown again. And this identifying and feeling my emotions has helped me manage the prevention of burnout that way.
Yeah. there's just so many things that we feel, and you just saw Anna just completely nerd out about emotions. So you only see one type of person do that, and that is the person that has graduated from therapy. So they've been to therapy, and they're like, look at all these emotions. It's like they just found out what candy was. Like, there's different types of salt I can put on my popcorn. The fuck world is this? It tastes like
salt.
It tastes like cheeseburgers.
No, it's so exciting.
I know. I'm teasing you, but I'm being very for real. When you expose people to that feelings wheel, a lot of people that are neurodivergent struggle with identifying emotions. And so I'm going to try and tie it back for a second, back to autism. Not saying that you are at all, but just emotions for many folks, especially those on the spectrum's hard, very hard. And we're not talking about masking and hiding emotions. We're talking about just not knowing what the hell they're feeling. So we talked about somatic. So that's when I started doing the body scan with them. Okay, so let's talk about your headache, sweaty palms. We go through all the physical stuff. And then we try to navigate what's stress, what's anxiety, and what's happiness. Because sometimes excitement and anxiety are felt the same in the body. So you can get the bubbly stomach with both. And so I'll tease some of my clients, they'll be like, I'm so anxious. I said, maybe you're excited. And they're like, Nas, go fuck yourself. Well, okay. Well, I thought I'd try. So, they're like, yeah, you're terrible. Okay. So we go through all the physical symptoms, because that's the easiest to do with a lot of my clients, because they don't get all that other stuff. And then we start connecting the context of the situation that they're in. So physical symptoms, context, what was happening before, what was happening during, what was happening after. And then we bring it into the room and we start to pinpoint things on that damn wheel of emotions. And like the tertiary, the core, then we go out, then we go out. I'll link the feelings wheel in here. It should already be in the bio link that's in Instagram and all that stuff. It should be in our link tree, but I'll also link it here.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. I'm so passionate about the wheel of emotions that my logo is a butterfly and it's got like the gradient rainbow on it, because it's supposed to be the wheel of emotions colors on it.
There you go.
It has crazy.
Do you have any clients that go to your in-person office, or are they all like online over the phone visual?
Oh, I had in person when I started, and then after the pandemic, the world changed. So.
Yeah. So if you did have in person, I was going to say I've seen a couple of my therapist friends. They'll get it printed out on a pillow. They'll put it like it's on a pillow. I don't know why I made that noise, but it's on a pillow.
I would have done that. Yeah, if I could. Yeah, they get it in email as an attachment. But yeah. It's so important. And I don't know, maybe I was never diagnosed for whatever, but honestly, when I discovered it, like a whole world opened up of like into doorways into yourself. I feel like each one of those slices in the wheel of emotion is a little doorway into yourself that opens up blind spots.
And so not being able to navigate that, how does one form a healthy identity? And so you, not you, but folks that are listening will get misdiagnosed with other things. They'll get called borderline or toxic themselves, borderline personality disorder, because their identity is kind of messed up and their emotions are kind of everywhere. Well, they're probably neurodivergent and highly traumatized, and no one's actually helped them navigate through the emotions because they didn't even have the words or know that they needed to navigate through those emotions because they didn't know what the hell they were. Just like I didn't know what the hell a therapist was until I was legit becoming one. Yeah, I didn't even know what therapy was until I was like my second year in my program. I was like, holy shit.
Oh, that's what it is.
I was like, and then they're like, hey, you could have got this for free when you were in college. And I'm like, so y'all just don't tell the poor people this shit, huh? You just tell the white kids? Okay. 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 Like I could have got to healing,
Hilarious. Oh my God.
I'm telling you, man. So at a lot of higher education, a lot of colleges, therapy is free. At least you get some. So I feel like a lot of people don't know that. And I try to always advocate. These days, everyone seems like they're therapy crazy. It's not that people are therapy crazy. They just want you to go talk to someone to work out your emotions because you don't need to put all your shit on your friends all the time. Your friends and everyone's there to support, validate, kind of nudge you. But sometimes talking to a professional is good if you can afford it. I get it. It's a luxury. It's a privilege to have a therapist. But that self thing, it's impossible to do it by yourself. It has to be a community thing. And I hate saying that because I know some people feel like they have no community at all. It's difficult with these things. Life is difficult. So we get back to the scene, sadness. There's been a lot of sadness.
Mhm.
A lot of sadness, a lot of trauma, a lot of pain, a lot of tears, a lot of nightmares, a lot of fear. And as I've gotten older and I have my father's voice in my head, it's like, we'll figure it out. It's just as easy as that. I tell my clients over and over, you will figure it out. And as I get to work with them for months or years, just a couple weeks, you always lean back in faith. So not religious faith, but faith in themselves. You can use religious if someone is very religious, but use faith in themselves because they got here somehow without me, without a therapist. You figured this shit out. Well, I didn't do it well. I didn't say you did the shit well. I said you made it to this point, to the university. You must be smart. So now we start doing a little bit more healthier things. And now I hooked you up with all these different services now, all these different things to help. You're going to be able to figure it out. When shit hits the fan, you have figured it out.
It's hard. It's so hard because I think one of the hardest things for a trauma survivor, or like literally to be human, any adverse childhood experiences survivor to have is trust. So to trust the services, we're going to figure it out. You'll figure it out. Are you sure I'm going to figure it out? You're asking me to trust myself to figure it out, or you're asking me to trust the services to help me, when literally trust is because I've been betrayed. At the core is the reason why I'm here in the first place in this predicament. And now I'm asked to go beyond that somehow, this superhuman faith and trust. Like, what the fuck? Like, no, it hurts. It's awful. And then you just like want to crawl into a thing and disappear. But then you blink and you're like, okay, I guess I'm still here. I gotta keep going.
Yep. And I will let you experience that pain and disgust, and I will let you be mad at me. But when you leave my office, I ain't saying it's my way or the highway, but I'm saying is I'm going to let you sit in that sadness and suffering, because suffering is a lot sometimes what we inflict on ourselves. The initial pain happened, and then we chose to suffer and stew on it forever. So I'm like, homie, we can sit and cry as all you want. But at the end of the day, we need the solutions and trying to figure this out, because I can't let you die here. This is not where we die. We will move forward after you are done being sad and after I'm done being sad with you. But your little sad self and traumatized self made it to my office, and you trust me. And if I recommend you to anyone, that's because I trust them. So I operate off of trust. And this isn't like a therapist thing. This is like a street thing. I don't fuck with no one I don't trust. If I trust you, I love you. And I don't drink around anyone unless I trust you or love you, because I have trust issues as well. Being a big person, and people are sketchy. People are real sketchy when you start getting drunk. Then they want to fight the big. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I don't want to get into it. So I trust people very carefully. And I got deep love for like a handful of people. Spencer's one of them. People on the podcast who have been our common guests, love all of them to death. Dom, Colin, Salim, Vicky, Sabrina. Love them to death.
There's no love for me. Okay, we're good. We're moving on.
I don't know you good enough. I know you talk.
As soon as you said hey, let me tell you something real quick. As soon as you said you spoke Spanish, she was like, well, boom, 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 boom.
And then she said she was dog.
His heart, sorry, I saw his heart drop, literally. He just went, what the hell? Where'd it go?
This is so funny because most of the podcasts we tease about sexuality just in general, well, usually mine. And like the last podcast that just came out, I said, well, I guess I'm gay again. And the therapist goes, what do you mean again, sir?
He always comes back to it. And you're like, wait a minute.
It's funny. It's an inside joke, that one, for everyone that watches the podcast. When they go watch Batman, they'll hear me talk about this anime character. It's funny. But trust you, right? It's tough. If you are a therapist listening to this, which I know many of you do and are, or a healer or a coach, it doesn't matter what the hell it is, athletic coach, coaching with mental health, job coach, ADHD coach, whatever it is. If you do refer someone, make sure you have vetted that person, that you trust that person to be in the hands of that adolescent, child, adult that you're working with, veteran, whoever it is. Don't make no damn recommendation to people that you don't know. Feel them out, set up a meeting, set a virtual call, figure out their vibe, their services. And if there's other people in the department, then refer them best fit, best on speciality, but also best fit. Because sometimes best fit is better than just having the best speciality. I'm not a specialist in some of the things that I work with. But my students love working with me, some of them. And I was like, hey, man, so some of these issues that you're going through, I can put you with these 2 other people that are perfect and are specialized in trans identities. But like, Nas, I love working with you. So we'll work with me. And then I'm like, okay, so now we're outside of my realm of knowledge. Now we do need to kind of transfer so we can get higher level of care. It was like that for international students because I didn't work with many. And now I'm at Purdue University, one of the biggest universities in America. One of the best when it comes to engineering in the entire world. So there's a lot of international students. I didn't know a lot of the stuff, so I would refer to some people. And then you start to learn, and now I'm good. So now I take on a lot more clients that are from different countries. When you're referring, keep the person's identities in mind, right? Their vibes in mind, right? Because a lot of the healing happens if you vibe with that counselor, clinician, or who they are. Or that bedside manner, it means a lot. Because they look at the studies, and it doesn't matter what type of stuff the person does, cognitive behavioral therapy, DBT, any of the other different things. Doesn't matter, ACT, counseling, whatever it is. They're all relatively about the same in efficacy. The only real variation is based on the counselor or the person that's in front of you. How do they deliver it, and how do they work with you? Do you feel safe with them? Do you trust them? Side note. Story time. My students would be like, that don't have no trust, like you said, because they've been betrayed. I'm like, do you trust me? And they're like, yeah. And I said, why? 95% of them say because it's by law that I can't hurt them or do anything to them. I said, damn, it's only by law. So you mean I'm untrustworthy, huh? Okay. Now, as soon as I lose this license, I'm gonna beat your ass. Spencer's like, God damn it.
They're like, oh my God.
Again. We don't beat the clients. No one beats clients on the show. All right? It's a joke.
We don't. But I say that because we'll start to talk about trust. And why do they trust me? Because many people do. And I joke. I'm like, why the hell would you do that? You don't know me. I'm just some big funny looking dude that makes jokes. And then we talk about it. How do you build trust? So then we start to project out, how did they trust me? How long did it take? Did it take? I remember one client, Divergent. I think she said it was 5 weeks. Long time ago. She said it was 5 weeks. After the 5th session, then I began to trust you. She noticed that was a common pattern in her life. She had to meet people at least 5 times before she even got to develop any type of comfortability. That's where we work with trust. We start out with kind of our relationship, and then we work out. And then we help them build safer relationships throughout it. Sadness is a wonderful thing. It's a terrifying thing. I avoid it at times. I like to feel it when I have the mind to feel it. It's like I don't want to watch a sad movie or show because life's already so sad. Why the fuck would I watch something sad? Because I want to go watch something funny and laugh and enjoy myself. I'm already kind of tired and sad. I just got to the midway point of my yogurt. There's only half the yogurt left. I only had 2 scoops. I'm sad. People have no idea on how sad it is when you eat 2 scoops of yogurt and the yogurt's gone. It's bullshit. Sad. I'm being funny right now. Obviously, that's not that sad.
You're making a change here for all the yogurt connoisseurs out there.
Yeah. Damn, now I'm hungry. One thing I wanted to point out about the last thing, then we can go to the next scene. I brought up this scene because, she validates, what the hell's his name? Bebop?
Bing Bing?
Bing Bong.
Bing Bong, Bebop. That's from Ninja Turtles. Bing Bong. I talked about it with Anna a second ago. These counselors, coaches, empaths, teachers, professors, anyone, mentor, anyone that's in a possibly superior role where they could help out someone else. Everyone's in a battle to professionalism versus authenticity and acting appropriate, and it can get very convoluted. Everyone knows I'm weird, and I used to hate that I was weird. I remember she ended up being a friend later on, but I remember she looked at me in class because I misspoke. How could you do that? And she said, "You're so inappropriate." And what I said maybe was inappropriate. I called the professor by their first name instead of their title and their last name. I wasn't meaning being disrespectful. I just called them by their name. And I mess up like that quite often. I do little small things, and people may think it's inappropriate. They end up becoming a friend, and they give me all these positive affirmations nowadays. But I've got that disgust from like a lot of people growing up, being ADHD, neurodivergent, saying stupid shit, and then people judging me. I was not the smartest in any of my classes. I got very good grades, though. Very good at relating and listening to people. Anna, you said that when I texted you, it felt very down to earth, very chill, very grounded, just kind of authentic. It felt safe, felt okay. Mm-hmm. It just felt, this is a human that I can talk to. A human. Many of my clients will report this. Group therapy, individual therapy, clients that I talk to at my outreaches. I went inside a fraternity. They never had any counselor ever go in there. I went inside there, and it was like 35, 40 people. 7 of them signed up within the next week to get therapy. Not with me, but with other people. They couldn't all go. I got 2 of them. I don't have enough availability to take 7 people. Why is that? A lot of them felt safe, felt comfortable, felt relatable. I was real. I was human. I was emotional. I cried in front of those boys because I talked about my mother's death and my brother's death. And I talked about letting go of the mask and being more authentically you. A bunch of different things. Any of you listening to this, you do not need to always be the best at reading and writing and mathematics. Maybe your curiosity, your autism takes you into different things. But you do not need to be perfect. I am not perfect, and I fuck up quite often.
Hey, this is your co-host Spencer, and I'm bringing you a special message from our collaborator, Silver Dollar Candles. They have great scents to go with great messages, just like Best Dad Ever, True Crime and Chill, and my personal favorite, When This Candle Is Lit, Give Me That. You can also make your own candle and message that fits you. So go use our link in our link tree to get your order placed with Silver Dollar Candles today.
We're not shooting for perfection, right? You said it earlier. It's a growth mindset. You're just trying to be better than what you were the day before. But for those of you therapists that have imposter syndrome and stuff like that, do your best. Consult and ask your coworkers or supervisor about what you're doing or the cases that you're struggling with. You can even ask your clients. I ask my clients if I feel like I'm lost or maybe I'm not helping them. I'm like, hey, so what did we get out of these last few weeks or few months? Or is there anything that you would like me to do? Or is there anything that you want to say? Because I have my clients kind of lead the session these days. What is it that you want to talk about today? I already asked my 3 questions. So now it's up to you. What are the homeworks that you want? Where do you want me to lead you? Because I can do it. Sometimes I like to be navigated. She was able to validate Bing Bong just by saying sadness kind of sucks. I get it. And just empathize with them. And I love that type of therapy. That is one of the best therapies that there is, to just validate someone's experience. Probably if they're in therapy, probably for the first time fucking ever. That someone gets validated for sadness, pain, any type of abuse, trauma, assault, any of it. First time ever, I hear most of the firsts of all the pain that people experience. So we talk about it, we validate it, but quite often, what you'll see is with my neurodivergent clients, after they've got their validation with some therapists, they'll be like, okay, now what? It's like, so a lot of us are solution focused. So now what do we do? And the therapist will just pare it back. Oh, that sounds like that was really hard and sad for you. And many of the people that I know will be like, are you making fun of me now? I've heard other counselors tell me that there's neurodivergent clients are angry with them. Because like now you're just I don't need you to tell me the same shit that you just said. I just said this. I know how I feel. I just told you how I feel. Why am I bringing this up? Be authentically you, yes, as a counselor, but also if you are a client and you feel like maybe your therapist needs to navigate you a little bit better, then advocate and talk about it. As Mandy told us in the Batman episode, it's very fine to stay what your needs are in therapy or with a coach, an education, a professor, doesn't matter who it is, nurse. As what I struggle with is demanding things from my doctor. So I feel like I should be very respectful instead of just being like, fuck you guys. You gave me all the wrong medicines and now I'm all fucked up. I would never say that. They give me too much blood pressure medication in the beginning almost. I'm not gonna say it on TV. I'm not gonna say that live.
All right, on TV.
I'll give a little.
We owns the TV.
A little kick.
Little kick.
And we're staying on fruit in the peaches.
In the peaches, right in the plums.
Right in the plums. I just love that scene because of how validating she was. And I feel like you don't need to be a fucking expert sometimes. You can just heal someone just by being there, existing, and being a good human.
Validation is like alchemic, right? Alchemical. It transforms the sadness. I don't know what it, right? What does it do? When you feel validated, it just does stuff to you. And you're just like, okay, I'm normal. It's okay.
I'm not crazy.
I'm not crazy. Yeah, you feel. I have clients who come to me and they're so conflicted. And this happened, and then he said this, and then or she said this, and it's like they weren't validated in that experience. And then when you say, yeah, I totally see your point. That makes total sense. Heck, I'd do even worse. They're like, oh my God. So then they feel validated. And same thing happens to me when I'm in the hot seat in therapy myself, right? It's when you feel validated, it's kind of like, wow, okay. Oh, so this is good. I'm good. And then you go on. It's alchemical. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah. It's so when I get validated, I'm like, nah. So I usually slide past it. So I'll just keep scooting on in the conversation. So someone will be like, oh, or that you did good at that, or that was awesome, or man, that sounds like it was hard. Yep. And I just keep going. Because some of us don't like the validation because it feels icky, because they're like paying attention to things, and it's like, oh, now we gotta talk about this and shit. Like, stop. Don't sing me happy birthday and shit like that. And I don't want to be validated. Just shut up. I don't know how to explain anything right now.
Have a good day, man.
Yeah. Like, we was eating pizza. Now you validating me and shit. I didn't ask for this.
Better not bring out those candles. I swear to God.
I'm making a joke now, but it happens sometimes with validation is that it opens up a pathway. And that's when people really start to get like really sad or really feel that pain or whatever's going on. They really feel it then, because now I feel it's okay to feel it, and thus they can fully experience it. You said that you were on the edge. Correct. You were on the edge. And so someone validated it and told you to experience it, and they pushed you off the edge. And then you fell down that hole and you're like, holy shit. It's terrifying. It's quite
actually terrifying. what I explain it as is I felt that I'm on the edge, and then the therapist nudges me over, and I feel like, oh my God, I'm falling into the abyss of nothingness. And then it's like, oh, it's a next stair. It's a next step. It's a stair. So it's that feeling, when you go down the stairs, or when you're dreaming that you're going down the stairs and you trip and you're like all startled because you feel like you're going to fall. That's exactly what I can relate it to. I felt like I'm falling into the great abyss, but I'm like, oh, this is literally stairs. And I just placed my foot on it. Okay, it's all good now. But in that second and a half of falling, it feels like it takes forever.
It's like in the movies or some TV shows. I just seen it recently when they push the kid into the water and they're flinging around and then I'm drowning. And then they stand up and they're like, wait a minute.
Literally that. Exactly.
Then the shallow end. I literally just saw this like 2 days ago. And the dude's like, stand up, you jackass.
Oh. We're good here. We're good.
Yeah. Wonderful thing. Sadness can be a tool, but is the thing that we experience, and you should not be afraid to experience it. even though I as well run from it.
Mm-hmm.
But continuously running from it for your entire life is not only terrible, and not just tiring, but is cowardice. And this is what I talked with my very masculine men. You want to talk about therapy and how that's a punk thing. I don't feel like saying the B word, but how only B words do that, or using other volatile, vulgar things that we express that women are, is cowardice. There's nothing stronger that you can do than run into this emotion and these feelings and face them head on, instead of coping them with alcohol or drugs or opiates or sex or whatever it is, all these other things, all these peripheral things that you do. Run right into it. There ain't nothing more masculine than there is than that, to go right into battle. You seen 300. So run your ass in there and let's see what happens. Actually, that metaphor didn't work because his ass died.
Yeah, not a very happy ending to
Not
the
a happy ending,
Spartans.
but you get, all of Sparta. They get, everyone knows what Sparta is now, because it's about running into those emotions.
You know what? They died, but you know what? We know what it is. So
okay, so I lost that
okay.
metaphor in the ADHD, but y'all still got it. Running into the emotions is probably the best thing that you can do when you're ready.
Well, that's so profound what you just said. Wow, that took me aback.
Validated. You see, look at me now, Spence. I'm validated. Fuck you now, man.
Here we go. All right. Yeah, you're right. You don't say dumb shit. All right.
Spencer putting you back into your book.
That's right. He
back
thinks
into my
he's
box.
up here, and I'm like, no.
Well, he likes to keep me in the closet. It's a thing.
Oh, here we go. It's a closet again.
Anna, say what you were going to say, and then we'll go to the next scene.
Yeah. Please. Love God. All right. We'll just move on to the next scene.
Okay.
Next scene. So before we actually get into it, so a big part of this movie is actually that they have these core memories, right? These core memories that shape Riley's personal islands, right? So she has different islands to go to different things like honesty, family, and all of that. So it's all of these things connected. And then once Riley starts feeling that kind of sadness, fear, anger, all of the other emotions besides joy, then all of a sudden sadness starts like touching the orbs, and then they make them more sad memories, right? And then obviously this frustrates Joy because throughout like the younger years of Riley's her childhood, Joy was the main kind of core memory, right? And so this kind of leads to the scene that our last scene that we're going to be talking about, where Joy realizes that you need to have other emotions to kind of come together instead of just kind of separating them and letting them be their own island or their own emotions. And so at the end of the movie, sadness kind of takes over to let Riley feel sadness again, instead of just feeling all those other emotions. And so now she's able to actually express herself, actually have a cry, and have that time to actually feel, instead of kind of just pressing everything down. It's more about now she's expressing that sadness, because when she first moved, she wasn't able to express, leaving her friends, leaving all of her, just all of her great memories back in Minnesota. And so now, with everything kind of coming together, so now all these different core memories have different colors in them. So instead of it just being like yellow with joy, it's joy and maybe anger, or sadness and disgust or fear. It's actually bringing all these emotions together instead of just kind of letting them be on their own. So with that, how would you say, how do you kind of help clients identify and work with their core experiences to build a more positive identity? Either one.
I usually let the guests go. So, but if you want time, then I can go. It's up to you.
You can go.
Okay.
Mhm.
It depends. It's different for every client. Is sometimes it's not always about building a positive memory or thought.
Mhm.
Sometimes, like you said, you name it and then you kind of identify it, you figure out what it is, and then you start to move on from it. But the pain sometimes will always be there and exist. But you're able to grow outside of that than just being stuck in it. I feel like this scene is nice because it shows that everything is not so. I hate to use these colors, but metaphorically, black and white. Life is not just black and white. It's not so simple, so simplistic. It's very complex. It's so convoluted and poisoned with so many different things. There's so many different variables that you don't know what you feel or when you feel it. So it's a little seasoning on all of them. And so maybe it is this blue and this yellow, sadness and joy. But then there's other variations that are sparkled in there, and then maybe you got some glitter in there. There's a lot of different things that go into life and experiences. As Heather, she said, why do you and your father cry so much? Why are you so emotional when you see the baby? It's happiness, but it's also a deep pain because we're reflecting on the sadness of our lives, but then the happiness that we are now here in our lives to see this beautiful bundle of joy at 7 months. So most of the time it's about helping people identify these emotions and then trying to give them faith that they'll be able to experience more positive ones moving forward based on the choices that we will help them make, or validating them to where they can actually have a stronger identity, to where they can trust themselves to make healthier choices. That's where you start. And then we keep going and going and going. And I have multiple humans I think of. We started to work on a lot of emotions and a lot of drug and alcohol usage, and we got into to do healthy choices for a while, months and months. And he said, "Nah, this is so fucking boring. This is boring. What do I do? Before I was having fun and exciting and living life, and now I'm just like doing my homework and going to class. And now I'm not even in a relationship because I got rid of this one person because they were bad for me. And so now I'm just kind of sitting here." I said, "Yeah, this is the beginning of growth, homie. Not just going to immediately be happy." And I said, if I could,
that's a very fertile place to be, because you could exponentially grow from there, like beyond, or you could dabble back into the behaviors you're very familiar with. So is it boring, or is it unfamiliar, so unfamiliar that you don't want to explore it, and then you want to go back to what the familiar temptations
correct. And
were.
It's perfectly stated on what people do and how they think and how they feel in those moments. It's unfamiliar, so we have to navigate those. And then also your client will dabble back. They will go back and they will test out, relationships, drugs, alcohol, bad behaviors, poor sleep management, poor hygiene, whatever it is, eating. And the key is to not judge them, because they're gonna be, they never want to come back because they don't want to look you in the eye because they have let you down. Even though I am not your father or your parent, am I a little disappointed at times? I'm not gonna lie. With some of them, I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little saddened because I want them to do well. And so when they don't go by that, there's part of me is like, shit. But I'm also, okay, that's cool. Let's figure it out. Relapse was always part of the plan. And any time in drugs and alcohol and any type of treatment, relapse is part of the plan. So long as they always know that relapse is part of the plan, then we're good. But people always go back into some shitty behaviors. The goal is maybe not go back to all of them. The goal is technically harm reduction. So maybe you only went back for a day, couple hours. Maybe it was, instead of eating the whole cheesecake, you just had a slice of cheesecake on your diet.
It doesn't sound right.
I'm getting hungry.
You're trying to talk about with a lot now. I'm sensing you're getting
Yep,
pumped.
it's getting to that point. Yeah, there's always a point in the show where it's just like,
Yeah, Spencer warned us of that. Yeah,
Yep.
no, I'm starting to see.
You see the pineapple gone, so I don't eat that. I think it's about getting clients to where they need to be, and it's not always about just changing that emotion. It's about building up so many other things that they're not afraid to experience the other emotions. And I think that's kind of what Anna was saying as well. I'm gonna go ahead and let you take over it. Do you want him to restate the question, or are you good, Anna?
Oh yeah, go ahead, restate the question.
okay. So, speaking about those core memories, how do you help your clients identify and work with their core experiences to build a positive identity?
Well, I think that those core experiences sometimes could be so packed with different emotions, and the familiarity of having like in the movie the balls that like the core experiences had sadness and joy, and sometimes shit, I mean, mine looked like a rainbow with all of like the whole emotions wheel, right? And I don't know which one of you was it, Spencer Nas, who said that you put glitter in there. I love it. Just glitter. Yeah, I just glitter all over it. So yeah, that's what a lot of mine looked like. And I learned that you have to, so I help others metabolize through them.
Good word.
And just kind of like metabolize it. And then once that happens, once we unpack and explore the different layers, because that's the thing, like we think it's just one thing. No, it's many, many layers. And they all have such valuable information that once we start to lean into each one and then we metabolize it, and then it's kind of like, okay, that whole experience now, like you kind of go through like a whole feedback loop of what it was, and you can set it aside. Like she puts it in that tube in order for it to go into like long-term memory, I think it was.
Yep.
You can do that, and then you can move on from it. Like you can literally let it go, it goes, and then you move on, and then that's experience, and then that builds your character, and then that builds, like you said, trust in yourself, and then that builds confidence, and that's how it just kind of like grows. That's why I use the word fertile, because it just keeps growing into and keeps giving more and more and more.
I like that word, fertile. It fertilizes the grass or whatever vegetables or whatever's growing there, right? It's everything that you needed to do. It's the pre-production of all of it. It gets it ready, and that's what you're doing a lot in therapy. Because if I'm being honest, a lot of us in the healing professions, we don't get to see all the good stuff. We get to see them for a short time. We do the intakes. We see all the trauma, the damage, the shit. We get them to like being somewhat stable, and then it's time for them to go and fly on their own. So I don't get to see all the good stuff, or the marriages and the healthy relationships, or them to get promoted and promoted and promoted. I get to see some of it. In long-term counseling, you get to see all of it. In short-term, in the universities, you don't get to see all of it. You just get to see just the very beginnings of yes, I got this. It's tough being.
Do you get anybody drop in and connect with you later? Yeah. I've had clients come in like 2 years later and be like, by the way, I couldn't be in a relationship and I've just moved in with my boyfriend of 2 years. I couldn't have done it without you. I'm like, girl, it was all you. I was just there sprinkling the glitter.
Yeah. See, when they give me those validations, that's when I get kind of narcissistic. I'm like, yep, it was all me.
You weren't even supposed to be there. I was just talking. I didn't know what happened.
Like, remember, you owe me 10% of your first check. The kid middle name got to be Nas.
Oh my goodness. Okay, now I'm starting to see it.
You're starting to see that, I'm not a good person. Yes, students or clients, whatever I've worked with, right? I got a human that just emailed me the other day, never a client, just a student that I was just talking to, mentoring, back at St. Mary's. They just sent me an email this weekend saying, hey, got some really exciting news I want to talk to you about. I assume they're getting ready to become a counselor or a therapist, because I assume that's what the good news is, but maybe it's even better than that. I don't know what they wanted to do. I thought that they're going to be good at whatever they do because they are a badass human and an awesome woman. I got a feeling they're going to go into counseling, but if not, then there must be even better news. But yeah, students will drop by. Students will give me gifts, things like that. Clients. I've got some families that will like say things and send emails. I just graduated with my doctorate in May, and so some students that I knew, they finally sent the gift. The gift was like Snoopy with a graduation hat that says 2023 on it. Like, oh my God. Of course. My clients know me.
Yeah. Sure do.
They know me. So yes, it does happen. I've seen wedding invites and stuff like that before, all types of stuff. So it's really nice to see the good stuff. I know some humans. I always tell them, if you want to see where I'm at, just go on LinkedIn. You'll see what job I'm at. You know the podcast. So if you ever want to listen, then just listen. But, on LinkedIn, it lets you know that who looked at you. And so I've seen a couple people recently. I'm like, are you coming back to therapy, or are you just clicking to see where I was at? I'm like, I'm wondering, like, you okay, girl? Like, how you doing? Yeah. I'm like, I know this is you, girl. I'm hoping that everything's fine and they just had like a good thought. They were reflecting. What month is it?
August.
Yeah.
That's why. I assume they got married by now. I assume that's why they clicked on it. Okay. That's what it is. Okay. Sometimes I forget. There's so many humans that I take care of. I can't remember everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do get those wonderful moments, those validating moments. I have very, very good statistics and data to prove that I am very good at my job based on the analytics that we keep. And I've said this on a few podcasts, and I don't even feel shitty about it because we keep that in the university. It's all data collected, statistics, outcomes, long-term management, academics, grades. It's all collected. Surveys, student surveys, it's all collected. And so I have very high rankings on a lot of things. And I have a high demand rate for speaking engagements on campus. And it's because I'm just a human and people like trust me. And I'm funny and engaging. And it's not a lecture or a slide. I use no slides. I just go in there and I talk. And I just pace back and forth. And then I make a few jokes. And there's not much eye contact. And I just go in there and be fully me. I remember,
you're relatable and you validate. And that's it.
I love with some of my clients. It's not clients. Some of the students will ask me questions. I'm like, if I answer this question, you're going to cry. Because they'll be like, well, how do you, because I always say, what questions people have? And they'll be like, how do you work with someone that's always having to help their family and give back? And so I'll start to give some thoughts, validating some things, but then it starts to make people tank. And so I have to shift focus that way they don't tank too much. But you'll be intrigued. The number one question last year in my engagements on campus was, how do you prevent burnout? Everyone wants to know that. And it's so hard to give back to my family because a lot of them are students of color. A lot of them are international. It's so hard to be invested in that. Some of them might not even be documented. And it's just a lot of stuff and a lot of trauma and a lot of stuff, a baggage. And so I'm helping kids navigate and set some boundaries on that because they got to take care of themselves first. Then you can really help the family out because now you're going to get this degree from one of the top universities in America. You can't be worrying about everything that goes on at home. You need to shut some of that shit out. And so the knock at me from one of my students years ago said, Nas don't care about family. Nas a shitty person. He don't care about family. And the lady, awesome lady, the teacher, she's a white woman. She said, you know, Nazir takes care of his disabled father, right? And his brother lives with him. He takes care of both of them. He said, I didn't know that. She said, yeah, maybe you shouldn't talk shit about people. Maybe you should learn about them first. The boy was a complete con artist in trying to lie out of his way out of everything and take no accountability. So everyone was the issue, never the person themselves. This is a good scene, Spence. The multiple facets. I like the glitter thing. I said the glitter thing, but I was thinking more when you eat that ice cream that was always at the ice cream shops, and it had them pop rocks in it. And they blow up, they explode in your mouth.
Yeah, pop rocks, yeah.
Pop rocks, yeah. That's kind of like the emotions I have when you're ADHD, you'll just be tasting vanilla pop rock.
You know what? I think I know when the end of the show starts because there's like 4 food references. I think it's 4. I want to say it's 4. And then
ADHD's
that's
a
usually
pop-
when the show is like it's done.
Okay.
It's just like, well, that's hungry time.
So as we wrap up,
Yes.
all the emotions, highly acceptable. Validate the emotions. Seek people that help you validate the emotions. Watch content that helps you validate some of the stuff that you're going on to. So if you're on Instagram, TikTok, look at things that are going to be validating and not traumatizing. Try not to compare yourself to other people.
Sure.
For my neurodivergent folks, know that identifying these emotions fucking sucks. Any people that have been through a lot of trauma, a lot of stress, adverse childhood experiences like Anna talked about, it's going to be tough. But start doing some of that education now.
Gentle does it. You know how they say easy does it, and gentle does it. I always go by that because it could be overwhelming.
Yep, that's what I said. Ease into it. So that was the big things for today on my part. Anna, do you want to wrap anything up, or what are some of your final thoughts for the folks?
Yes.
My final thoughts is that, all emotions are necessary. Don't shy from them. Lean into them gently. Explore them. Add a little whimsy, like glitter, to your experiences. Whimsy always helps. A little humor too, if possible. That helps too. Tolerate. It makes it more tolerable and pleasant, and it enhances the experience. Gives it more flavor. And then, you just go through it. You get through your shit, and you keep moving forward. And you pay back by giving back. Right?
Yes.
There you go. All right.
Anna.
Anything else nice?
I'm in on this. We don't know you, but I'm happy to have met you, and I'm glad that I got over my anxiety to send you a message. Whether you help a bunch of people or not today or in the next few years, I don't really care about that. Is you made me and Spencer smile today.
Yeah.
And if you make us smile today, and me and him are going to talk to other people, and I got a job to get back to on Monday, and I got 3-4 clients ready. So if you make me smile, it helps out a ton of people go down the pipeline. So I appreciate you. And whether it's a defense mechanism or not, I don't give a shit. I loved your personality today. I loved you as a person. Bless you and your son.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys so much too. And this was so pleasant, and I love the giggles we had together.
Yes.
The giggles.
It's fantastic. Fantastic.
What's giggles in Spanish? I'm joking.
What? So, Anna, please tell everyone where they can get a hold of you and or just follow you on the socials.
Yep.
Yeah, Anna Maria Life Coach, ANA Maria Life Coach on Instagram, and AnnaMariaLifeCoach.com is my website.
There it is.
And
all right. Thank you so much.
It'll be linked in the Instagram, YouTube, and in LinkedIn. Yes. I'll have all her stuff linked in all of our posts.
There you go. All right.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. We really loved having you on. It was great. Loved it.
Well, we'll stay in touch.
Yeah. yes. All the pineapples would be sent. So thank you so much for coming on. I'm Spencer. That's Nas. This is the Different Spectrums podcast. Go check out all of our sponsors and collaborations and our merch. It's all in there. Yeah. So with that, thank you. See you.
All right, people. And remember, take care of yourself.
Or don't.
That's up to you. Peace.
Bye.